Welcome to another edition in our CSEC Math Exam Past Paper Questions and Solutions. And this question is question 5A taken from the CSEC May 2011 Past Paper Question. Now, it states, the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows triangle OMN and its image, triangle O prime, M prime, and M prime. N prime under an enlargement with center O, meaning both triangles share a common center at O. Now they're telling us that the scale factor, which is not given, is K, represents K, and angle ONM must be equal to 90 degrees. Here we have the diagram with the different measurements. Now you could always pause the video to recap the question. I'm just going to get into it quickly. Now here is a diagram. Now let me just pull this up a bit so that we can have a little bit more space to work with. Okay, here's the question. Now here they're asking us a couple questions. They're asking us, using the diagram, the dimensions rather shown on the diagram, we should calculate the value of K, which is the scale factor, right, of the enlargement, and that value is 1 mark in the exam. Part 2, they're asking us to find the length of OM, another 1 mark, and part 3, the length of OM. This should be OM prime. So let me just make that quick correction. Okay, this should be OM prime. So we should have a prime there. We're finding this distance here from M prime to O. Okay, now good. Here basically the first thing we're asked to find is the scale factor. Now they have said that the scale factor K represents the scale factor. So to answer part 1, we can say, since the scale factor is K, scale factor is really equal to, and I'll try to make it as simple as possible, it's equal to big over small. Okay, that's just a general concept. I mean, in some books you may see length of the image over the length of the object. Okay, so another quick way of representing this you may see in books, image length over object length. Okay, it's just the same thing as big over small. Okay, so just put in these just in case you see them, you know what they mean. It's the same exact thing. So therefore I can say then that the scale factor K must be equal to, in part 1, the big side, which is, if you notice, we are matching corresponding sides. Now I should have said that we are matching corresponding sides. So since we were given the side MN, we are matching it with M prime and N prime. So I can say the scale factor K is equal to M prime to N prime, okay, which is this distance here, the 16 from M prime to N prime, that's 16 there, and that is all over MN, which is the smaller side. Okay, MN. So the scale factor is really 16 over 8. 16 over 8. So my scale factor, 8 into itself goes once, 8 into 16 goes 2 times. So my scale factor is equal to 2. Now here, that's part 1. So let's look at part 2 quickly. This is part 2 now. Here they're asking us to find the length of OM. Now OM, O to M, if you notice, triangle NMO, they stated that the angle at N is a 90-degree angle in this triangle. So obviously it's a right angle triangle. Hence we should know now, by having two sides in a right angle triangle, we can go ahead and solve for the other side by using Pythagoras Theorem. So here I could call this side OM, since that's what they're asking us to find. So OM, which is the hypotenuse, and I can put a H there to say that that's the hypotenuse because it's the opposite side from the right angle. Okay, so OM squared is equal to MN squared. MN squared plus NO squared. NO squared, and we know that OM squared okay, must be equal to mn squared. If you notice, from n to m to n is 8 centimeters, so I'm going to say 8 squared plus NO is 6 squared. Now we know that 8 squared is 64 plus 6 squared will give us 36. Okay, so here really what we have, let me just pull this up a little bit. Okay, yeah, good. Now here what we have OM, let me just bring that down, OM squared, let me bring it down again, OM squared is equal to 64 plus 36 will give us 100, and we need OM, we don't need OM squared, so since OM is being squared, we must do the opposite of square, which is to find the square root. Now having found the square root of that side, we have to take the square root of that side. Therefore OM is equal to 10, and our units is in centimeters, so I must put back that. So that would be my answer, okay, for part 2. Let me just make a note. This would be our answer for part 1. Okay, good. So having answered part 1 and 2, they are asking us now to find the length of OM prime, which is this total length here. Now again, that should be pretty easy, because having found the length of MO, now MO would be the smaller side here, and M prime to O would be the bigger side. Okay, so we had the scale factor, so we know that we can, by substitution, let's just pull this up a little bit. Okay, let's just pull this up a little bit. Yes, I think we could stop there. Now part 3, to answer part 3, we can say by substitution, part 3, let's just put it here. We can say scale factor, which is k, must be equal to the big over the small. Now if we note, the big is what? M prime to O, and that would be over the small, which is M O. Okay, now we could just go solve by substitution. Here we were already given the scale factor. The scale factor here we could just say that's 2 over 1. We just turn this into a fraction since we had a fraction there, and that must be equal to M prime to O. M prime to O is the same as O M prime. Okay, don't get nervous now because you see me put M prime O. Now quickly, MO we know, we just found that to be 10. So basically here we have an algebraic equation, so we can just solve this quickly. Since 10 is dividing this side, I need to make M prime O the subject. So basically, since M is dividing, I must do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So I must multiply both sides by 10. Here 10 will cancel 10. Therefore, M prime O must be equal to 10 times 2 would give me 20 cm. Okay, and remember I said M prime O is the same as O M prime. Okay, so I mean, if you want to write it that way, you could just put it down. You could say M prime O is equal to, or O M prime, as they have given it to us here, is equal to 20 centimeters. Okay, and that's it. It's that easy. Bye bye.